got so excited when you both were coming.
From now on, everywhere.
I know, right? It's like, it's crazy. I know. How did this collaboration come? Whenever I saw this, I was like, they're coming and they did a book. I thought this was so interesting. How did y'all meet? How did this happen?
Well, I had read her memoir for one thing. I loved it. That was a piece of the puzzle.
My agent called and said, "Do you want to write a novel with James Patterson?" I said, "Excuse me, what?"
Yeah.
What did you say? And then I said, "I don't know if I could do that."
It's intimidating.
I got on the phone with James Patterson. You can imagine, and he told me the premise, and I said, "I think I can do that."
Yeah.
I think I can do
I think
that.
you can do anything. Yeah, you're one of those humans.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell my 15-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, our kids, none of our kids think we're cool or can do it. Yeah. Well, tell everybody what the book is about.
It's a big courtroom drama in the South. A little feeling of To Kill a Mockingbird, which is something that I grew up on. And when I was in grad school, I always wanted to write that kind of a big, small-town court drama. Yeah.
Yes.
That's always harder to play off. And you were pretty inspired by it, too, the story as well, right? Connected to you?
I was pretty inspired by it because one of the central characters is a 13-year-old girl who has an abortion. A doctor performs and gets, she's on trial for murder. And yes, and she's on, so it's a big courtroom drama that sets, you know, it's in Alabama.
This is Nova, right?
A small town in Alabama. The girl's name is Nova. Of course, the judge's name is Mary Stone. And I'm a big character-driven person.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people, my entire career has been about finding those really dynamic characters, especially as African-American women, those complicated, just really, those characters have so much paradox. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I won the lottery with this.
Is it true that you actually wanted to be a writer before you even knew you wanted to act?
I did when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a mystery writer, you know. And
Look
so
at your life.
I know.
This is amazing. Like,
I know, manifestation, right? And I remember my 4th grade teacher said, Viola, you remember that story you wrote? You were Detective Davis in the story, and then you killed me. I was one of the characters. And I said... And she said, I asked you why you killed me, and you said, because you made me mad today.
I wanted to be a writer, and then in college I took a course, and the guy said, well, you write well enough, but stay away from fiction.
Oh, my gosh.
I probably should have.
Don't listen to me.
I know, don't listen. Listen to your heart, like the song. There you go. I heard that you prepare for roles. I know that I've talked to a lot of actors on how they prep. Some have playlists, some do things like for characters. This is one of the coolest things I've ever heard that someone does. You actually write, like, the backstory. Like, nobody ever sees, when you get cast as something, you write an entire backstory for that character.
I do, but I think sometimes people make me seem maybe a little bit more glorious than I do.
No,
but I don't always write 100
beautiful.
pages. I think I'm about to do a film now. I think I'm maybe on page 40-something. But because you have to fill in the blanks with the character, you know, you got to make them real. And because you're terrified, you know, when you start a movie, you're terrified. So.
Well, I think that's got to help you.
And that's what the book is all about. It's about making this. One of the things we did, which was interesting, because Viola's used to, you know, when you're doing a film, you got the studio, you got the director, you got all these people. With us, it was just 2 of us. Yeah. And our mission was only one thing, just keep making it better and better and better and better and better. And a lot of that was making the characters real.
I will say you inspired me, though. I have never thought to do this. When I heard what you do with your backstory, I was like, I think it would be an interesting album concept to, like, create characters or even characters that are in movie, and like you become that character and you write songs from their perspective and like whichever. I just thought it was an incredible.
Cool.
Well, you inspired
me.
You did. I was like, that would be such a cool idea. Like, I've done it in like museums with like art, like of paintings. I've done it a little bit with it, but I was like, oh, creating a whole person, like who they are, and then writing from that perspective is very interesting to me. So thank you for that idea.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We've got Viola Davis and James Patterson. The new book is called Judge Stone. It's out now. So you've written quite a few legal thrillers. What sets this one apart? Not too many.
It's better.
Yeah. It's better
than the others. Yeah. Well, and Viola, it's, you know, one of the things, and there are many, many, many things. She's a very good writer. But in addition to that, she's used to getting scripts that maybe where the dialogue isn't as good, but here we just kept fixing the dialogue, or where the character isn't as developed as much as you'd like, or different scenes didn't work as well. And you just kind of, there it is, and you have to do the scene, even if it isn't quite right. We just kept making the scenes better and better and better. There's one scene where Nova has to take her little brother to the store. And we must have done that scene 10 times.
Beautiful.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, as an actor, you usually come in, if you're not a part of the writing at all, it's like you're kind of handed this thing.
Yeah.
This is an amazing creative adventure for you.
To build it from
We
Yeah.
have no one to blame but ourselves.
Exactly. And so we're steering the ship. Are there any similarities? Like, I know you did the memoir, but there has to be some kind of similarities with writing in general. It's very different, obviously.
Well,
but were there
because you
any
have to
similarities?
use your imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the imagination, I always say imagination has to come from life. What stimulates my imagination is just regular people. It doesn't stimulate my imagination to watch other people's work and to copy a character I've seen on TV. People who are like in this studio audience, for me, is just the greatest inspiration. You know, people who are just coming from their lives, what's going on in behind their eyes, how they wear their hair, how they dress, all of that is inspiration.
One of the beautiful things about fiction is you get to make stuff up.
Yeah.
I wrote a nonfiction about King Tut, and I didn't want him to die.
You're like,
You're not allowed to
not
change
today,
it.
not my story.
dead.
I wanted to, like, he gets out of the pyramid, you know, and he's on the loose, but they wouldn't let me do that.
It's interesting you said imagination, though, because I grew up with no money, and I think the thing that is kind of cool about that, and I really push my kids when we're at the ranch, is when you don't have everything, you know, and you don't have a lot, you know, it's like you have to have an imagination. You have to.
You do.
You're
That's
almost
what-
pushed,
yeah,
and I think
exactly.
that's a beautiful thing, and it's free, you know, and it's there,
Absolutely.
and I think
Well, I
that's
lived
why I
out in
like
the country
books,
as a
'cause-
kid, and there weren't a lot of kids around, and
Yeah.
I would roam, especially as a little kid, I'd roam through the woods just telling myself stories.
Oh, I did the same
Yes.
thing. So you say you felt a great responsibility telling this story, right? With this
did.
character? Yeah. Was it because your connection with Nova?
My connection with Nova, first of all, because she's 13, she is very much like I was, probably overdeveloped for her age, adultified. A lot
Yeah.
of young girls in general are adultified. Young black girls are really adultified. Okay, I just wanted to meet her where she was.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to honor her. But we both did, and we wanted to honor. I think we have James created a fantastic character in Judge Stone. That character, she's going to be a hero for the ages.
And
I
it's a
think.
controversial topic. So I love it. Were you
It
like
shouldn't be
kind of
controversial as much as just let's talk about it.
For
Let's
sure.
just keep
Let's
talking
talk
about it.
about
it. Yeah.
And you know, the thing in the book, Judge Stone cannot make a judgment. She can't be on either side. She's the judge.
Yeah.
She's supposed to listen to the information. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, important also, that we
Yeah.
can be open.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about our relationship. It was always open. Yes, what do you think?
Yeah.
Let's listen, let's talk about it.
I like the juicy topics. I like the talk, like with
Me
friends,
too.
you know, they're like, oh, holidays, you shouldn't talk about this with your family.
I'm like, oh,
what?
no,
I'm gonna
let's-
lean
let's
in.
get it out. I know.
I'm gonna piss someone off at some point. Like I was
Remember
like,
Uncle
but
so-and-so?
yeah, it's like I think that's how you create change because you are talking about it, you are hearing from others' perspectives, and you are. I think that we get too comfortable. Like it's okay to be uncomfortable, and you know it's a very uncomfortable topic for a lot of people,
Yeah.
Especially that relate maybe to the character. So
Yeah.
I
When
think
you
it's
get in a
important.
situation where we haven't spoken about the doctor, Bria, but where the young girl, she's pregnant, she's been raped, and this doctor performs this operation, and she's on trial, and she could go away for 99 years.
Yeah.
That is
is-
controversial.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really where you go, like, I mean, whatever you think, whatever side of the thing you're on, you go like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems wrong.
Yeah. And just reading it and kind of getting enlightened from different perspectives in that scenario. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than just making a judgment call.
Well, in the book, you can sit with them.
That's what I mean.
So, yeah.
You're sitting with all the characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've talked about a favorite line in the book. What is this? It's a sad line. I heard what one of your lines, and it kind of made me so
Oh, it's sad. Yeah, it's something that Nova says in the book about basically when she was raped or whatever. And one of the lines she said is, "They told me I was beautiful."
Yeah. Like
I feel that sometimes that's what baits us, because we're so afraid of, especially as women, of not being seen as pretty. There's a value we attach to it, so where sometimes you can lure us into any situation, sometimes, even at the expense of us ignoring our own instincts.
Yeah.
But,
And they told her she had pretty eyes, too.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
just-
beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, you
It
think about a
crushed me.
13-year-old trying to process that.
Yeah. So to hear that, you feel like you're the one in the movie, and you're the you know what I'm saying, the lead
exactly.
character in it, and
Absolutely.
it makes you feel special. Of all the characters you've played as an actor, what's one that has kind of stuck with you the most, that you feel like has changed you?
Absolutely, without question, Annalise Keating.
I think they like the answer. I think they like your answer. How so? Why that one more?
Well, she's everything that I'm not. She's everything that I'm not, and I had to create her from the ground up, and I had to believe I was worthy of her. People would say she's not pretty enough to be a leading lady on television. She's not pretty enough to be sexualized. She's not, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling I may have a character that may topple Annalise Keating.
Pow! Yeah! Yeah! Their new book is called Judge Stone. In it, a Southern Circuit Court judge faces a career-defining, ethically complex case. Many of our favorite courtroom stories over the years have us thinking about similar tough moral and ethical situations, which I love. It gets you talking. So it's time to find out which iconic courtroom films are James and Viola's favorites. This is Ranked.
Best courtroom movies.
All right.
I love y'all so much.
Well done.
Well done. I literally just came over that. I love it. We're gonna count down from number 5 to number 1, and Viola and James will discuss each. Okay, at number 5 is My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, okay. Well, and the only reason we put Vinny 5th is it's comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not like a real strict, you know.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei, great.
Oh, when she goes
Fantastic.
off.
Pesci,
Oh, my
oh my,
God.
she's so good. She's so good.
Yeah.
And she's a brown girl like my son, so they give her extra. And Viola got a doctorate there at Brown, which
Honorary.
is cool. Honorary.
Yeah.
Honorary, smarterary.
She said. What did you like My Cousin Vinny? I love when she goes off is my favorite part.
Yeah, it's
Marissa Tomei,
absolutely hysterical. And
Yeah.
and I'm still involved in the courtroom drama
Yeah.
while I'm laughing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's so
yeah,
great
yeah.
about it.
I
Yeah.
know. It's a fun. I loved how they did it in a in a comedic way. I thought that was really funny. This one, I have never seen this. Number 4 is Primal Fear.
Primal
Not a
Fear.
comedy.
I missed this one. I don't know how.
Yeah. Well, this is one. Richard Gere is always good in everything.
I've heard of him.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
And Ed Norton. And
Ed Norton. This introduced him. He
Andre
came out of
Braugher.
Yale, and yeah. And Ed Norton. I mean, I don't know if you remember how much you remember of it, but it's just some shocking surprises.
I see.
And
Okay.
Norton's
I've never seen it. I
spectacular.
can't wait. I love
Oh,
that.
it's-
When
oh,
you
it's
find a
great.
movie and people are like, you haven't seen that yet? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've
it
seen
gives you
all the
something
ones.
to live
Yeah.
for. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Do you love that one as well,
I
Primal Fear?
love it because you don't know what's coming. That's all I'll say.
I love yeah, don't you ruin it for me. I
Oh,
haven't
no.
seen it yet. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
and then what happened? No, yeah.
No.
I always ruin it for everybody. I'm one of those.
You're a spoiler
It's like,
alert?
You wait till you see what happens
Yeah.
in scene 2.
Okay. Coming in at number 3 is A Time to Kill. This ruined me.
Yeah.
Yep. This ruined
This
me.
is
This
another
ruined my
breakthrough
childhood.
movie for
Yep.
somebody.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. That was his
Yeah.
breakthrough and his closing argument.
I don't even remember. I remember Kiefer from
You
that
just
movie.
remember Matthew McConaughey.
No, I don't. I
Yeah,
remember
well.
the worst parts of that movie. It destroyed me. I think it's like one of those things too when you. And now that I have kids, I'm like, I don't know what you're ready for yet. I
Yeah,
was not
exactly.
ready for that.
Yeah,
I was like a decade younger than my siblings.
One of the things I
was
love
not.
about this, I know John Grisham a bit, and he's really terrific. And this actually, the book was kind of turned down by everybody, which is insane. It
Wow.
was published by a very small press in New Jersey. And the thing I love about this is Grisham actually picked McConaughey. He said, I want him. And in Hollywood actually listened to a writer, which never happened.
Yeah.
And he was right. He was right.
He really was.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was. Well, there's so many great people in it. That was a
Yeah.
great
Oh, yeah,
cast
yeah.
in
Great
general.
ca-
but,
yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God,
great,
that ruined me. At number two,
Number two,
is A Few
well.
Good Men. This is a good
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Great cast as well. I mean, one of the most famous scenes in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't handle
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah. But wasn't it alarming? I think this was one of the first time whenever I was a kid, I was watching it and I was young and I was just like, he wholeheartedly, it was like my first experience with narcissism. Like, it was like watching, I was like, oh my God, you wholeheartedly
Yes.
believe that you are still right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, that you are right in this.
I
Like,
think we're seeing a little bit of that these days.
yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
no politics. We're
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, they're in everyday life as well. No, that was what stuck out to you about that one when you were watching it, other than the
Well, it's a great. It was a play for so the theater
saw
of
the
it
play.
is powerful.
that was a play first.
I
was
saw
written
it.
as a play?
On Broadway.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And a great play, and so dramatic, and
Yeah.
and then just the actors, and you have Nicholson, who's such a pro in his experience, and then at that time relatively young, Cruise and Demi
Yeah.
Moore, who had to sort of measure up to Nicholson, and they did. And brave of them to take those parts.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, on the one hand you go, I want to be in it. On the other hand, oh my God.
Yeah, it was those slight things too. I remember that movie because they'd get so many close-ups of Cruise, and I thought it was like acting-wise, it's parts you didn't even need dialogue. He said so much with his eyes, just
Yes,
little slight
absolutely.
things with his eyes, and I was like, well, that's a lesson right there.
And I like the title, A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where are the women? And the best courtroom movie, according to James and Viola, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's yeah. It's one of the first books I read too.
Yes.
Like in high school, it's one of the reading.
I think it's a compelling courtroom drama, and for me, it's even a bigger metaphor about race in America. It's a metaphor about heroes and who steps up and who doesn't. It just
Bravery.
spills into everything. Tom Robinson, I mean, Atticus Finch, come on. I mean, when he leaves the courtroom and everyone stands up.
And the best name ever.
I know, huh?
Such a great
Scout.
Scout, yeah.
And Scout says, why are we standing? And they said, because your father is leaving the courtroom.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So good.
And by the way, that was also a big model for us for our book.
Yes.
Small town
Huge.
courtroom drama, not
Yes.
whether it measures up or not, but
Yeah.
and when I'm in grad school and I wanted to write something like that, and that's a little bit of the stimuli for me in terms of doing Judge Stone.
Well, and in those small town courtrooms, everybody knows everybody.
They do. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Except that once
Yeah.
this thing happens in Judge Stone, all of a sudden, 3/4 of the people in town are outsiders. So
Okay,
suddenly
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't know everybody.
And do you know everybody?
Yeah, right.
All right, that was Ranked. Everybody give it up for Viola Davis and James Patterson. Their new book is called Judge Stone. You can find it wherever books are sold.